Hi, it's Mashudu Mphafudi, and you are tuned into NepoXchange Podcast.
Welcome to the very first episode of the NepoXchange Podcast, a platform that connects you to insights, people, and conversations that are shaping our world. We are all about access, and that means giving young people access to information they need to navigate their journeys. Kicking off this journey with us today is Mashudu Mphafudi, who's a corporate and commercial law expert, a project finance specialist, as well as a valued member of our advisory board. From legal insights to breaking barriers in business, this episode is packed with knowledge and inspiration. Welcome, Mashudu, and thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
All right. Okay. Thank you for joining us. So today we just want to get to know you. We also obviously want to sort of understand your upbringing and your journey in terms of how you got here, as well as how you navigated the world growing up. So I'm going to start off very light, and I'm going to start with some very nice icebreakers so that I get to know you, but also we get to relax, both of us, because it's our very first episode and we just want to make sure that we're relaxed, but also the viewers get to know you. So some of the first things that we're going to start with is what I would call a game, but as an icebreaker, which is it's called this or that. So you're going to choose, I'm going to give you two options and then you choose one. One of the first things that obviously I would ask you is, do you, if you were to choose, do you prefer going on a bush trip or a beach?
For me, it's always been the beach because I like being out there. Okay. Interacting with water, the ocean. For me, it's been always the first prize.
Okay, great. Okay. And then do you prefer tea or coffee?
It's a bit of both, in the sense that, in the morning I do have coffee, but in the afternoon I tend to have tea because it relaxes me. I can't take more than 2 cups of coffee. So it's a bit of both.
And it doesn't matter the weather. You just have your tea even in the afternoon. Okay, and then do you prefer gospel or jazz music?
Again, for a weird reason, it's a bit of both. Because I do listen to gospel, I do listen to jazz as well, various artists, and I enjoy various genres of music over the years, but I'm tending to lean towards gospel. But I would say I do listen to both.
Okay, great. The next one is quite a bit of a challenging one. I know people tend to it's a bit of a tricky question. Yeah. But do you prefer Kaizer Chiefs or Orlando Pirates?
Always love and peace. Kaizer Chiefs has always been the brand for me. Okay. I associate with the brand because of the logo and everything the club associate with, which is love and peace. I love Kaizer Chiefs. Okay,
now I know that you're a person who enjoys a lot because they go through the most. Kaizer Chiefs fans, us as Kaizer Chiefs fans actually do go through the most. And then the next one, are you an early bird or a night owl?
I'm really an early bird. 5 o'clock in the morning, I'm up. I want to head to the office. Working late nights, I do at times. Okay. But if it comes to a choice, it's rather being early than working until late in the night.
Okay. All right. Okay, great. And then do you prefer to travel the world or explore some local gems?
Well, I must say I have explored a lot of the local gems. For me, exploring the world, it's a big ticket item for me. That's what I like to do to the extent that I can afford it, because traveling does come with a cost.
It is a bit costly. Yeah. Okay, and then do you prefer adventure sports or what do you do to relax? What is something that you do to relax you at home?
One of the things that makes me to relax is if I start in the early morning, head to the gym, and then in the evening, coming back home, watching some TV, spending time with the family, that tends to relax me a bit, yeah.
Okay, all right, okay, that was cool. You see, you did quite well, so that was quite enjoyable. Yeah. Now getting into a bit more detailed information just to get to know you. Where did you grow up? If you don't mind, obviously telling us a bit about your upbringing and where you grew up and some of the things that obviously influenced your life. Where did you grow up?
I grew up in the heart of Soweto, a place called Mufolo Central. That's where I spent my early days up until I think I left there around when I'm about 33. Yeah, that's where I grew up in Soweto, yes.
Okay,
The
okay,
biggest
great.
township in South Africa, yes.
Okay,
By
great.
the
And
way.
then how would you say growing up in the township, especially in Mofolo, shaped your life?
It shaped my life in the sense that, the way the community was interacting with each other. We had role models that you can identify, see them, talk to them on a daily basis. Not people that you see on TV, people that can give you advice, and people who could be your parent, not necessarily being your, your DNA parents. So in a way, for me, the community aspect of in a township context, it's something that is priceless. Yeah.
Okay, great. I like that because also one of the great things I think about growing up and living in a community, especially as you say that you had people who not only were your biological parents, but also then
yes.
shaped that, which also shows the sense of community as we grow up and as we are young people. So I like that.
Yeah.
Then one of the things that I want to ask you going into, again, your upbringing,
Yeah.
what is a song that you would say sort of like shaped your life or changed your perspective on life?
Well, I must say, through the stages in my life, there's particular songs that I would identify with. But currently, at the moment, the song that I identify with is by CC Winans. I think the title is "I Believe." It's a very nice song. It's a mixture of Christian music and obviously a bit of jazz. If you listen to it, it sounds like it's jazz, but it's not. It's very relaxing as well.
Okay, all right, okay, cool. Speaking about relaxing as well, what is the one activity that you do? Let's say, like today we are recording on a Friday. What is the one activity that you say you do that really sort of helps you unwind after a busy week?
Most of the time, I must say these days, like on a Monday, Wednesday, times Fridays or over the weekend, I take my boys to soccer.
Okay.
Go watch them play soccer. Go to training with them, and it that in a way gives me a time off from work to basically connect with them. Firstly, connect with other parents, who bring their kids to the soccer field and talk about life in general. So for me, that's one thing that tends to work for me. Yeah.
I like that, especially because a lot of parents complain about not sleeping in over the weekend. So I like that you bring a positive perspective to it, and it's something that really helps you relax. You spoke about exploring the local jams and the fact that you've traveled locally and you want to travel across the world. What is the one travel destination that stuck with you the most, and what was the experience like?
I must say, going to Asia, Koh Samui, it was a totally different culture, going to, the various rice fields there in Thailand, the culture and the fact that, the how people approach life, the simplicity in terms of which people undertake their lives on a daily basis really give me a different approach to life.
Okay, all right, okay, that's exciting. And then just speaking about that and the culture and the things that shape you, what would you say motivated you to go into the career path that you're in?
The career path that I'm in, it motivated me in the sense that, I like dealing with people, firstly. I like solving problems. I like engaging with the youth and giving training to the youth. That way, when you give your time to empower other people and not expecting anything in return, for me, that's priceless.
Okay, that's exciting. Not really putting you on the spot, but what would you say was the biggest highlight of your career so far? I know there's probably many, but if you had to choose, what are some of the things that really stood out for you and are still the biggest highlights of your career so far?
Well, one of the biggest one is the fact that, one could go to varsity, get an education, get a job, get into corporate where, it was not easy. and climbing the ladder. And secondly, being a dad for me, I think it's something that I appreciate on a daily basis. And being a husband to my wife, it's something that's priceless for me.
Okay, great. And then you spoke about, I think you just spoke about it even now, that you obviously see having a family as one of the things that are your highlights. Is that one of the things that keep you going, or what would you say keeps you going or moving forward?
The fact that, one wakes up in the morning and then knowing that, you are responsible for somebody's life, that in itself, it's encouraging, and it brings a level of discipline to make sure that, you are responsible in what you do, how you do it, and the way you conduct yourself.
Yeah. As someone in the corporate and commercial law space, what advice would you give other young people who want to get into this industry?
The advice I would give is that, one, you need to be disciplined, because the profession commands that you be disciplined. Secondly, you must be prepared to put the hard work. Thirdly, you must be prepared to read, because we do a lot of reading on a daily basis. And you must be a good listener, because people coming to you with various issues. So you must have the ability to listen, and listen attentively, so that, when you come back with solutions, the solutions relate to the problems presented to yourself.
I like that, because a lot of people, and I used to make this mistake as well, but it was to obviously listen to respond instead of listening to understand and really take in the information that's been given in. So I really like that, and I hope young people who are listening and tuning in can obviously take that away.
Yeah.
We are getting into our closing, and I just wanted to obviously ask you, I liked the word you used earlier about a ticket list, because usually we use the word bucket list, and it has a bit of a negative connotation to it.
Yeah.
So what is the one thing right now, besides traveling, because we spoke about it, that you would say is on your ticket list?
Well, I always wanted to study and be a doctor. But then I realized that, there comes a point where you really, there are other important things to do other than the having the title of being a doctor. Okay. It's quite an important title. It comes with a lot of recognition. But, there are times where you say, I think I can put my time somewhere and then appreciate the fact that, it's you will not reach there. I wish I could, but I've realized that, it's something that given my hectic life, I won't be able to do anymore.
Okay, so that also then tells me that if you didn't get into the corporate law space, you would then be in the medical field.
No, not necessarily. I was meaning like a doctorate in law.
Oh, okay.
Yes, not,
all right.
not
so
in the medical profession.
Of the level of achievement.
Yes,
okay.
yes, yeah.
All right. I mean, there's still time. You can still explore that.
It requires a lot of effort and a lot of time. Yes.
Hopefully one day you can get to do it.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. And then what's a mantra or piece of advice that you live by on a daily?
For me, it's simplicity and gratitude.
Okay.
It's not a lot of time where people show gratitude for what they have, and what other people have done for them. For me, it's quite an important thing, because if you show gratitude, I think you will go far in life.
Okay. All right. I like that. I really like that. And then if there's any other lesson that you obviously wish you knew earlier, but now you live by as well, or you've learned, what would you say it is?
Something that I wish I knew earlier is the fact that, in life, you always need somebody to speak on your behalf when you're not in the room. So therefore, treat everybody with respect, listen, and because you'll never know at the end of the day who tomorrow might be able to provide help to yourself.
Speaking, I really like that. And I like that you really take connecting with people quite seriously. And this then brings us to our last question. How would you want those people that obviously you interact with to remember you? Obviously, not like even when you leave the room, I'm not bringing it in a negative way to say when you are gone, but to say like even when you are not in that room, how would you want people to remember you? Like what are the top three words or top three things that you would say? I want people to say me as Mashudu, 1, 2, 3, 4, or these are the words that describe you.
Yeah, well, it's somebody who who comes in provide guidance where it is required. I'm available as and when I'm required. And also I'm reliable. Being able to be reliable is something that people also associate that concept with myself.
Okay, great. Okay, that was lovely. It was really lovely getting to know you, Mashudu. Thank you for joining us and for also being a part of the Nepoworx family as one of our advisory board
100%.
members. So we really hope that as you continue, obviously in life, that you do reach some of those goals that you wanted to reach, and you also do get to travel to the destinations that you want to go to. So keep going. Thank you for tuning into the podcast, and we hope that you obviously continue to tune into the next episode. We will be dropping episodes every 2 weeks, and you can also check us on our social media platforms. On all the social media platforms, we go by Nepoworx. On Facebook, we are on Instagram. We are also on LinkedIn as well as YouTube and X as well. Thank you. Goodbye.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for joining us today, Mashudu. That was a really insightful conversation, and we hope our guests enjoyed getting to know you. We actually do have a token of our appreciation for you. Thank you for joining us. And who would we be if we didn't really, I'm going to open it for you, if we didn't really get something that obviously speaks to what we are as an organization. And so you can have a look and then read it, just so our viewers can also see what we got you.
Very nice indeed.